Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Officially Unofficial. I am still hosting, Alex, otherwise known as Lexi, go by Master One on the internet. I am, of course, by the illustrious Hapgood brothers, Initialize and Nymera. What a game we just saw from Burning Core and Rascal Jesters. What are your thoughts going into this next game for Burning Core versus Detonation FocusMe, the kings of the LJL, as I'm killing.
Well, I think that DFM never really have boring games, which is great for us. The first two games have been absolute barnstormers.
True.
And, I mean, that means that even if Game 4, which is, what is that, Axis versus V3, is that it? Even if that ends up like Sengoku V3, where it's like the 57-minute, oh, why are we watching this kind of thing.
God.
Like, I'll still be happy with these 4 games. I've had a really good time casting them so far. And this game set up to be a good one still.
True.
Yeah, completely agreeing with you. Like, I think this should be an interesting one. Burning Core once again had a great early game and just threw it away in the mid game a little bit.
Of fumble.
Not even a little bit, quite a lot. And whether or not that whether or not they can take that kind of good early game pressure against DFM and try and convert it into a win this time, I have some hope for them. I still think DFM are massively favoured, but if Once can find something again, if you can get on that Jarvan and go 3-0-3 in the early game, you know, there's definitely room to work with that.
And also the first time they've played, they went against each other, right? Ray Farkey had a really good game. They brought it into it's probably the closest game we've seen. I mean, there was the Rascal Jester one, which was up there.
That one possibly.
There was also the Axis game where Axis were winning in the early game. Before DFM said no.
Oh, was that the first game of the split? I'm trying to remember if they played set 2 times. Because remember the first game was
no, the first game they destroyed it in 24
That was
minutes.
the Heimerdinger, Jarvan, Galio.
Which one was it? Haven't they played
The
a second
game?
time, or am I just mistaken?
I don't think they've played a second. Oh, if they have, then
what was week 4? It was week 4.
Anyway,
it was week 4. Sorry.
Anyway, so we have Burning Core against them now, and Ray Farkey, if he gets his Gangplank, we have seen that if it gets to late game, he will get good KDA, good items, good damage. However, we saw in the game just past, and in their first game versus DFM, doesn't mean they will lead to wins.
Nope.
So, they will need to clean up their acts, as every team will need to versus DFM. They are indomitable. There are so many different adjectives you can apply to that team. It's going to be a tough game. I would love to see a King fall today. It would be so fun. On the other side, if they keep going, it just makes their legend even more legendary. Yeah.
Undefeated throughout the whole of it, maybe?
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a possibility. I mean, Cloud9 are kind of attempting to do it over in the NALCS. They're 12-0 at the minute. If DFM can follow suit over in the LJL, that could be something pretty historic.
That'd be a cool thing going into MSI.
It would also be really good material to trash talk the VCS guys when they go into MSI as well.
Yeah, they just don't have the same quality, do they? That's really what it is. They wish they had a Zig player like Saros.
Maybe. But I mean, I also wish that we had a bit like actual meta AP Shabana.
That would be great.
You're just wanting a repeat of
when we're actually in the game.
Oh God, no.
Something like that.
Yeah. But with that in mind, I think it's time for us to go into pick and ban phase. As always, I counter sync because blast from the past and all that kind of stuff. And
did you like my Back to the Future reference last Champions?
I mean, I appreciated it. I appreciated it.
I'll keep doing them then, you know.
All right, all right. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go into this game.
We're coming out of our police box into the London streets after our time travel.
Yeah, and never mind going back to the future, we're back to the past and we're into Champion Select. It is Burning Core taking on the blue side this time around. And it'll be Ray Farkey back in the top lane, Once, Rocky, Yuhi, and Proud on that side for them.
Whereas for the first time today, DetonatioN FocusMe join us on the red side. Ebby in the top lane, Steel in the jungle, Saros in the mid lane, Utapon as bot laner, and Gang as supports.
And we've seen some bans come through already. Surprise, surprise, that's a Heimerdinger ban away. Steel's Elise also taken, and Ebby is not going to get his hands on set. Probably quite sensible. However, Yuumi, Senna, and one final ban for DFM to come through.
I think these are some decent bans. So, no Ziggs taken away, no Karma taken away from Saros just yet. So it is just the Heimerdinger which people are prioritizing over his other specialized champions in that mid lane. Is just so obnoxious to play against, and he is so very good at that champion. It's actually a Felius
ban. Yuhi's best champion by far this split.
Absolutely.
Taking him off, that means he definitely fades away a little bit into kind of in sort of like not too much stuff done. We'll see whether we can step up this game. But speaking of stepping up this game, Ray Farkey going probably towards this Ornn. I mean, it's still flexible, can go towards the mid lane. Steel picks up the Olaf. Yumi's banned, but Soraka is not.
It's 10.4, so Soraka's not the highest value pick on this patch. You could maybe see something like a Sona, but then doing it into Ornn top is a little bit annoying when if you have a decent ganking jungler. So I don't know exactly what DFM wants to do in terms of comboing with the Olaf. Olaf in isolation, bit of a weaker jungler. You do normally need that Yumi to keep him topped up and have that low HP stacking that he does have. Burning Core lock in the Gragas on the other side of that. They have two very big teamfight ultimates already between the Ornn and the Gragas.
Yeah, and once is an exceptional Gragas as well. We saw it way back on their first week of play. They looked really good on that. Rocky locks in the Ezreal, keeps that out of Utapon's hands, who had a fabulous game.
Well, he's got the MF
versus, I think we would want to say Sengoku Gaming as well.
Yes.
And actually, you're right. He has got the MF. I kind of blanked a little bit on that.
And actually, the first Ezreal that we saw in the LJL, this was before the buffs came in and all the other ADC changes, was Ezreal versus an Olaf. It gives you that extra escapability, a label to self-heal. And yeah, so Seros picks up the Ziggs before the second round of bans.
I never saw that coming. No way did I expect Seros. Seros of all people to pick up a Ziggs. That's a complete surprise to all of us, to be sure.
I thought that they might try and pick up a support right there. A lot of the time you try and lock in your bot lane duo before the bans come through. It would be interesting to see what Proud goes towards on his support as well. Had the Blitzcrank game last game, mixed performance, some very good moments, some very bad moments. Burning Core have had the Yasuo banned away from them to stop that Gragas Yasuo combo as well, though.
Braum taken off, and that's always a fairly strong one. Quite defensive as well, and really good versus the Ornn, exactly. And not bad versus the Gragas either. You can block that.
I mean, if people remember back to the season 5, 6 glory days of Gragas jungle, or like 6, 7, I can't remember. Season 6 definitely. People would often pick Braum into the Gragas because at least you could, at that point it was an instant cast ultimate at melee range, which meant that if you put the shield up, at least it can travel past you, you'd be punted away from him, not into the team.
Yep. Syndra taken away as well. Quite good into the Ziggs and is a pretty nice meta AP carry from the middle lane. Yeah. And Thresh taken away as well. Gang is such a damn good Thresh. Not a surprise to see that taken off the board.
He is, but I would have really liked Burning Core to pick up the Thresh.
Well, that's I like this potential pick. Ebby had a great Vladimir game last week. It would be a nice one to have. And when you double it up with something like a Mega Inferno Bomb, that Hemo Plague sort of like scales that damage so well. And leaving the support potentially for last pick then. I wonder whether Gang's thinking of picking up something a little interesting. Leona's still on the board, of course, and that's pretty good with that MF.
Yeah, they need... Well, it would be nice for them to have some good engage AoE CC. Leona does fit that bracket. Nautilus also available and pretty good with the Misfortune as well. Both of them kind of combo into the bullet time pretty
one
well.
or the other pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas Burning Core now have to think about their 2 remaining picks, which will probably be a solo lane and the support. It will be the Nautilus taken away from DetonatioN FocusMe and locked in for Proud. Very good on the hook champion, so he'll be happy to pick that up, I have to think.
Yeah, we'll see what their last pick is. I'm assuming this could either be for mid or for top. Depends which way they want to flex this Ornn.
Yeah, it could be.
Vladimir again is fairly flexible. He's blocked in the Darius. We should have known it was coming. 0-2 on it this split. Not the 0% win rate is a bit frustrating, but Ray Farkey does love this champion.
But in this situation at this point in the draft, I don't mind it.
I agree.
There isn't any disengage from the side of DFM right now. Rakan would be something towards that. It's one of Gang's better champions too. But if you are trying to put an Ornn into Vlad, that is a free ticket for the Ornn to scale, and that is why they want to have more disengage, more back foot team fight ability with the Taric locked in alongside the MF instead of the Rakan.
Plus, I think the fact that you can stack the Dazzle on top of an Olaf going in gives you a bit more engaged. You can put that invulnerability on him as well, so maybe it's not a Yuumi, maybe it's not a Soraka, but I don't think Taric is so far away from that kind of combo.
Sure. So the question for me now is, how does Rocky lane against this Ziggs in the mid lane? How does he know this matchup of Ornn versus Ziggs? As I was saying, I do like the shift away from putting the Ornn into the Vladimir. Although both of them effectively get a free lane to scale, that normally favors the Vladimir. When you have the Darius against the Vladimir, you have kill pressure again.
Yes.
And with the Gragas, you have gank potential onto that guy as well. So I would like to see Burning Core try and put Ebby under the dumpster, this could be a very interesting game from the draft alone.
Massively true. It is Rayfaki picking up his infamous Darius as we go into this game. It's going to be a spicy one. I appreciate Burning Core looking to pull some wild cards out on the side of against DFM. And looking at these drafts, it's a lot of team fight wombo from the side of DFM with the invulnerability from Tarek on top of all those area of effect ultimates. On the other side, the Darius counterpick into the Vladimir. We've got a lot of AoE ultimates again. There is that Gragas cast, that Ornn Horn. We've got the Ezreal with all the poke and the True Shot Barrage to come across. I'm kind of wondering where these teams are going to go. I've got to be kind of focusing on that Darius.
Absolutely. And also Darius, who does build Triforce or Black Cleaver. Either of those can be upgraded by the Ornn, so has that first item, which can be upgraded by Rocky in the mid lane, will give him some extra stats going into the mid game. And we've all know about how it is, how close it is in so many team fights. We saw in the last couple of times he pulled it out as well, particularly against CGA, where he was, 100 HP off of resetting and ending a fight and stuff like that. And the extra stats which come in from the Ornn do help alongside that, right?
Indeed. The other thing is that this time he's got to fight his way through a Cosmic Radiance, which could really neuter that Noxian Guillotine. Bit difficult to cut your way through the skin of someone who's literally gone into sort of transcended form with that Tarot coming down.
Sure.
I'm kind of reminded of... Alright, here's a throwback. Remember the Disney Hercules movie? When Hercules goes diving in to rescue Meg, and they're going to try and cut the thread, and they can't because it's turned golden. And it's going to be a bit like that. You've got to watch Darius come in like, yes, going to cut these threads, going to sever the fate and life of the side of DFM. But there is that Cosmic Radiance there, that spark of divinity there to stop it.
Well, we'll see if he goes from hero to zero or zero to hero.
Oh, well done. That was good. Yeah.
When you mentioned it, got to stop picking my back catalogue of references I can chuck in. There are plenty of ways that these team fights can play out. I like the options which Burning Core have for both engage and disengage. I think that they have the ability to reset a fight better than DFM do. I think that if you lead with the Nautilus onto a single target, if you then bait out the Cosmic Radiance, there is a good chance that you can start punting people away with the Gragas ultimate, or just try and go for another secondary engage with the Ornals as well.
All right, we saw a delayed invade there from DFM to pick up the red buff. It was spotted out by a well-placed ward at the entrance to the jungle, though. So it means that actually Utapon and Gang stepping forward here and keeping Burning Core off this wave. That's good play, considering they got to lane late as well. That power of the MF early on, even versus a Nautilus.
Do you remember the old meme of auto-spacing? Well, that was actually pretty much it from Utapon there. He gets...
Proud trying to see whether he can find something off here. Yeah, got to be a bit careful, does Steel. Could get hooked up, but claims most of the Krugs there either way. A lot of experience and gold in that camp. It's going to back away to his red buff and kind of force something resembling some vertical jungling. On a ward, once again, is Olaf. 96% of the vote, very understandably. Once does claim those Raptors, gets double Raptor camp. Is Steel going to get that one? Oh, yes, he does. So that's a big one. Does at least pick up that gold. It gets level 3 as well off that.
That's actually really sad from Once. Just turn around for another auto, would have been able to get that in there. But with the priority from Saros there, I think that if the axe could have landed onto him, it would have been pretty bad.
And here we go, coming in on the rest of this game. Rayfaki already had a fairly decent lead up here. Of course, we kind of had a feeling about that with how the Darius counterpick was going to play out. The jungle has already been a little bit spicy. It's not been a standard start for these junglers either way.
But the other thing is that it's effectively led into vertical jungling, and what that means is that this Darius is left alone with the Vlad. So it is the skill matchup of the Darius versus the Vlad, which I think will be preferable to Rayfaki.
Hook goes on, but it's a dazzle in response, and that's going to be a lot of damage back onto Pro. He's got the shield up at least, but it's had to be a heal burn already. But when Utapon has got a barrier, he's not running heal because Gang is running that. A summoner burn, or double summoner burn actually for the side of Burning Core, none for the side of DFM, and Utapon's going to trust to his lifesteal and that healing pot to bring himself back up to parity.
They have access to the waves, they can lifesteal a little bit. Proud might try and look for another hook there though. Double up lands, but it's not too much damage at only rank 1.
Going to try and back here, but remember Proud does have the dredge line, could go in on that.
It is the heal barrier, remember, from that bot lane, so I haven't mentioned that yet.
Yes, exactly. That barrier on the Misfortune definitely can turn around some of those harder engages. Nice trade back, and Steel's in trouble. That was a great satchel charge, forces the well, flash out of Rocky once is here, and that's going to be the end of that. But good trade from Saros on like no manner as well. That's well played.
Absolutely, and he has the TP to reset as well, as does Rocky, though. Rocky will try and push in this next wave as well.
Got to be careful.
Still hanging around.
Axe misses. Got to be careful. Proud here as well. TP's back. I think that might be the end of that little scuffle, though. Saros comes back with... I'm not sure whether he started with the Corrupting Pot or the Dawn Swing, but either way comes back with some more items, a little bit more aggression in this lane, and all that sustain is available. Once being forced away, the Dazzle there. Nice attempt at a flash response there from both Steel and Gang, actually. So trade for what, 1 for 1 of those, well, actually 2 for 1 of those flashes, I apologize.
Yeah, double flash from the side of DFM, not leading to anything. If it had got the kill onto one, so I would have said that would have been worth. Obviously, a very good response flash. Probably a predict. I'm not sure if that was if they were reaction, they would have been absolutely inhuman. So, but this will lead at least to the early Ocean Drake taken by DFM.
We're seeing an assist ping come down from once, though desperate to convert this air. Teleport coming in.
Steel's low.
Steel's got no flash, remember. I think this could just be First Blood over to the side of DFM. First Blood is indeed picked up by the Ezreal, and they're going to pick up this Ocean Drake as well. Nice response there. A little too aggressive from DFM.
Yeah, Hubris a little bit from the side of DFM, not respecting that there were wards available to be TP'd from. Olaf, no ultimate to be able to run away, no Cosmic Radiance, no way to try and reset that fight. Steel goes down, Dragon goes down, and this early game jungler of the Olaf not off to the best start now after that kill.
Yeah, but Ebby does manage to even himself up in CS kind of as a result, but Rayfarki will be happy that he picked up the wave here and doesn't lose huge amounts having teleport into the fight.
Absolutely. So, we see that he's building towards the Phage. No indicator whether it'll be the Black Cleaver or the Triforce just yet, though, as both of those build out of that one item. The First Blood did go over to Ezreal. He got a blue buff off that as well, which is very good for his laning phase. Going to keep him topped up. Has the tier as well, so he'll be stacking very quickly for the next couple of minutes, just being able to cast everything on cooldown.
But it's always going to be a little bit of a risk, because actually Utapon's picked up a fairly decent CS lead. It will be evened up a little bit as he gets onto this wave, but it's not like Utapon doesn't have a wave to pick up himself here. Played this pretty well, and actually there is still a slight gold advantage to, well, it's actually gold even now, as Rayfarki did pick up the rest of that wave on the top side, but it means that even with the First Blood, game is dead even. But you're right, this Olaf not got a lot done in the early game outside of burning a couple flashes, but because he burned his own there, that kind of dragon start was just too much, and it did cost DFM a fair amount for this early game.
What we've seen is a kind of a flow-on effect from all of this pressure that bot lane has got for DFM, is that the bot side camps have been taken once again by DFM. Good trade there from Yuhi as he sees the duo lane coming back to lane there from DFM.
Going to try and see a dive onto Ebby here.
Not sure this is a good idea.
Trouble. We'll see how it goes. It is, of course, the Hemoplague available. Has got that huge amount of damage. Flashes away. Rayfarki's just going to die. Ebby plays it so well, and he just runs over that in a 1v2.
So no flash out of the tower from Rayfarki. Tries to get the ult down before the pool comes down. He might have been able to flash in for another auto into ult, but it's well played by Ebby. But I have to question, why are you diving a Vladimir at level 7 underneath his tower?
Well, I suppose they thought they wanted to get this Darius super fed, but if you're going to do that, you've got to be more judicious with your flashes. You can't hold on to them and just go like that. If it fails, it fails. But that was just bad.
There was no ult available from Gragas either. I think that the way that they initially started it, get the pool out early, was okay. The ult went down, but they just never found a way to reset turret aggro after that initial damage came in from Ebby.
Yeah, and it's always a challenge to dive Vladimir. Let's see this one more time.
So the Crimson Rush keeps Ebby tops up a little bit here. Rayfarki opens up and takes aggro as the higher level and higher HP carry here. The barrel, I think, is not registered there. And basically, at this point, he just doesn't flash away from the tower. That's just on him not using his flash.
Yeah.
For me, I think he could have flashed out a tower for that last shot. Although I could also be very wrong and just blaming him for no reason. But for me, I think that Rayfarki a little bit lacks on that summoner usage there.
And that brings DFM back towards this gold lead. And we've been talking about how Rayfarki looked good with that teleport. It was a great sort of Drake's sequence of events. for Burning Core, but Ebby has quietly found his way back into this game. Yes, there is now an Executioner's Calling picked up for Darius. Yes, this is the counter pick, but Vladimir will find his way to relevance in this game. It's so hard to stop him. He's picked up a Fiendish Codex and that Kittle Gem, that new age build from last Worlds, that's just about getting the cooldown reduction available to the Vladimir as early as possible. He'll be at 30% or so at this point.
You know who occasionally goes for that build? You can actually go for that build on Rengar.
Really?
Yeah, you can. You get to a really quick cooldown on that. I can't remember the exact build, but I have a couple of friends who like to do their off-meta stuff, and you kind of end up going towards AP Rengar with 40% CDR.
I do remember that roar from Rengar and AP being fairly dumb, actually. It's good AP scaling. Gang actually getting run down a little bit here, but does have HP and, of course, the heal from his kit.
It's actually a level advantage onto Yuhi. He's got himself up to level 7 before Gang had even reached level 6 there.
That was the first blood earlier on, really giving him that experience, I believe.
There might be a dive coming down here with the ultimate available. They're coming down for the Mega Inferno Bomb too. Ult committed from Ezreal to clear the wave. Might be called off now as...
dashes forwards, does Ezreal.
He has the Sheen, so he's got good burst trades at this point in time.
Yeah, and still not found a huge amount. It's 10 minutes into the game. We're going to have to see what this Ezreal, or this Olaf, rather, does get to pull off. He's on a ward is Steel. That's probably what's ticking Burning Core off. Drop a pink ward over here to make sure that he is on vision. But they're going to continue just this pressure down here, because while there is a level advantage for Yuhi, there is a massive CS advantage for Utapon. Yeah, they've got to be really careful to Burning Core. They are sticking around, but it's a bit of a risk. Ebby and Rayfarki once again fighting this top side. The healing disadvantage is that's a good Noxian Guillotine. And I'm not sure whether Ebby's got the pull. Going to see whether he can get out. Is he going to be survived? No, he's going to die. Oh! Just get well. What a well-played thing. Keeps the flash this time. And does survive it just about. What a good 1v1. That was so close.
With the Crimson Rush coming through for the transfusion there, I thought that Rayfarki was going to be dead to rights.
Execution is calling.
I mean, credit to him. He knows his own health bar as well. Survives with less than 50 HP. I didn't see how low it got. This is going to be crazy to look through on the replay. So Rayfarki gets the Phage proc for the extra move up here, extra move speed rather, misses the outer rim of his Q on the first bit here, but stacks his Conqueror before he uses his ultimate. He gets a good heal there onto the minions, but it isn't enough. Oh, wow.
Triumph.
I'm trying to analyze that, but that's just knowing your limits. It's using your skills very well, using the Phage passive to catch up to Ebby even after the phase rush is in there. Actually,
call of the Force God is here, but the Cosmic Radiance is down too. That's going to be the end of that. All said and done. It's all over. Ziggs has got a CS lead in the mid lane, and they've also picked up an Infernal Drake.
They have done that, and it's going to be a Mountain Rift. So, very good for the side of the Ornn and the Darius as well. And, of course, the Nautilus. And on the other side, the Olaf will be liking that to some extent as well, because he will be building into that Cinderhulk.
Indeed, and of course we can see Mountain Soul being pretty appropriate on a Misfortune of all people. If she builds the Bloodthirster, can have the most ridiculous overshields of all time.
True, especially if you go for the Overheal rune as well.
Indeed, and once here, going to pick up the Rift Herald though. That's what you get for the pressure of the Darius early on, which is looking a lot cleaner this game than we've seen the last few times that Rayfarki has picked it. It's not only DFM who get to pick unusual pocket picks. And for now, looking pretty good. It's still dead even in the gold. We're seeing good leads in the mid and bot lane for DFM, but this Darius is well off of the races otherwise.
Yeah, it looks like he is going towards the Triforce with that dagger in inventory, unless he wants to go for Berserker's Greaves, which would be a little strange.
Could be a tricky one, but I suppose you stack Conqueror quicker? Question mark?
No, I'm good. I think he will be going towards the Triforce. It is kind of your more solo kill potential on the Darius, who's kind of looking to walk up again with the Phage passive autos. But that is why Steel has found his way up into the top lane at Brush as well. He's found his way in Unseen.
Do have to be very careful though. Rayfarki can heal so much, and he can definitely turn this around. But I think he's probably dead either way. Yep. There's a big bleed though, but the Triumph healing will keep Olaf topped up enough. Once is here, looking potentially on engage. Tries to find to steal, not enough. And actually, Once might be in trouble now because Ebby has still got flash and got a pull. Thinking about it, forces the flash out from Once, who's in a lot of trouble now.
Oh, the slow comes through though.
Yeah. Forces that out, and it means that turret's going to be in a lot of trouble as well. Once forced away, it's going to give pressure to the rest of the map. And Rocky's got TP. No, he doesn't have TP. He's fine. Ebby has got a wave here to keep himself alive. And Gang finds his way into the jungle, puts down a load of wards. Saros is here. look at Farky coming back to the top lane, feeling a little bit sheepish, having been caught out by a lane gank there.
Absolutely. So, yep, Farky built towards the Merctrez now, got himself his first semblance of MR, as does Rocky in the mid lane with the Abyssal Mass. Ceros might be getting collapsed on here.
He might be. He's going to get depth charge in the Call of the Force God there, but does manage to flash away. Good satchel charge, keeps himself alive. That was a Mega Inferno Bomb, assuming people were following a little bit further.
So he cast that just in case the hook connected there, because if the hook connected, then it would have brought Proud right into the center of that and maybe come around for a turnaround kill. At the end of that, it looks like a bit of a whiff though.
But in the top lane, the Rift Herald was summoned, and that means first tower went down to Burning Core. Because DFM tried to get onto this tower in the bottom lane, but have not quite managed to get there yet. Yuhi and Proud are here. Might well be a second tower, but Ebby's going to be there. I'm assuming he's going to try and kill it. See how it goes. It's another charge. It's just going to be half the hit points, I think. And actually, DFM looking to go in, but it might be a bit risky. Steel takes a fair amount of his HP, and Rocky is here. Has Call of the Forge got down, so no, he's in trouble. Gang's going to flash over the wall, does get out. Steel, though, very low. Does have the Ragnarok, though, to run away if he needs to.
Yeah, they get the flash out of Gang there, which is nice, because it means you don't have so many of those flash dazzles around. Farky actually looking to see if he can steal away a red buff. This Darius is getting pretty scary, even though he died in lane just that couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's not like Saros is that weak either. He's got a, up to 25 CS lead and a GOP complete. It's versus the Abyssal Mask, though, so Rocky's going to be ignoring a lot of that poke, at least for now. But we have got to be aware that once the team fights do hit, or if DFM do manage to get to Siege, that Ziggs will absolutely annihilate towers.
Yeah, he absolutely will. So if Burning Core lose a fight, Ziggs, as you were saying in a couple of the early games as well, has this ability to just kind of run down a lane and maybe even take 2 towers if he's grouped with his AD carry.
Yeah, most gold in the game actually is that Ziggs right now.
Yes, he is. However, I wouldn't necessarily want him to stand in melee range of a Darius.
No, that's very true. That's really true.
I think that Farky, as soon as he completes his Triforce, is off to the races this game. Said that phrase a couple of times. I think Burning Core have done a really good job now of starving out the red side jungle of DFM. We saw the Satchel Charge pop the tower as you were intoning there. And what that means is that Steel, even though he is on a farming jungler like the Olaf, will not be getting as much farm as he might like into this mid game because Darius is pushing up and stealing so many of these camps.
And we saw there that the pink ward wasn't quite catching that blue ward in the red buff bush there. Rift geometry catching out DFM a touch there. And the Mountain Drake is spawning, and DFM are here to fight for it. Gragas is not though looking to try and get onto this top lane tower instead. Trying to get a fight onto Ebby, who might have to just back away from this tower and cast it. And that's going to be massive damage. The transfusion will keep him alive, but look at where once is. He knows he's there trying to get out. He's just going to have to lose this tower, though.
Yeah, he will. It's a good trade from Farky. He commits the ult. Does mean that DFM get themselves the dragon, but it's only the second. It's not putting him onto Soul Point. I would trade this dragon for that tower at any point in this game, really, because that Darius is running over whichever side of the map he's on right now.
Yeah, and he's not so far away from a Trinity Force right now. I did stop off, of course, for that Executioner's Calling earlier on, so it's been a little delayed, but a worthy buy into that Vladimir. And as he backs with all that gold from that second turret, Triforce complete.
And it's almost in time to be upgraded to buy this Ornn. As soon as he hits level 14, level 13, level 14, starts coming in with the ornaments. So only a couple of levels to go for Rocky in the mid lane. And at that point, because it gives you stuff like attack speed and move speed, all of which are pretty good for... The myriad of stats are all very good for the Darius.
He's got to be very careful. No flash. He's walking towards 2 very strong members of the side of Burning Core. Everyone was stacked up in this jungle. On a ward is Steel, throws an axe, and everyone has to leave that bush because the axe would have spawned them.
Actually, Farky might be becoming his own little solo win condition at this point because he is just absorbing so much gold wherever he is on the map from DFM's coffers in terms of the objectives. And then also,
good step forward, step on that barrel, and the burning of the Ragnarok to keep himself alive. Means that Steel stays alive as once stops the take of that ward, fighting for vision control. Steel finally manages to get in on that. It's ult for ult, and that's about it.
And second Herald spawn now. That's a pretty big thing because both of these teams will want to be using that to crack open the opposing mid lane turrets. We've seen the combo with Ziggs before be very brutal with that Herald.
Yeah, and people gathering around this mid lane. Seros trying to gain some wave control here. Can poke out from a really long distance once. Has started up that second Herald, though. But DFM are aware About to stick a ward over. They know it's up now, but look where Rayfaki and Proud are off to the side. Going to try and find the way. They're in on Steel. That is too late on the Cosmic Radiance. Just goes straight down. But that's a huge Mega Inferno Bomb. But Rayfaki is still so damn healthy. And Ebby is now in trouble, but takes a lot of damage. Bullet time is huge. And they're going to do as much damage as they can. Ebby slays the Nautilus. It's a 1-for-1. But Ebby now massively low. Rayfaki desperately trying to play the 1-for-1. Utapon wins it, but he's going to miss the flashes once. And Utapon flashes out. The bleed is enough from Rayfaki to take down 2 for 2. Wow.
And the Herald doesn't go down. It's still alive. We can very well see a fight over this in the next couple of minutes as everyone respawns, actually. So it's going to try and get a chunk here.
Got a decent minefield to slow down Rocky from coming in. And Yuhi takes poke as well. Well played by Utapon there. Not enough to survive the bleed at the end. Now let's look at this once again. What a flank.
This is a fight of two parts, really. The hook lands onto Steel before the Cosmic's Radius can kill him. They carry on with the fight. It's a good Mega Inferno Bomb to get some chunks down. Yuhi is not putting out all the damage in the world at this point, whereas Utapon actually gets a good amount of autos and a very good bullet time, as we were all screaming about at that point in time. Ebby commits with the TP, but Rayfaki has another counter kill onto Utapon here as well, really showing what he can do on this Darius, this game in particular. So basically, I mean, it's such a weird fight there, because you kill the jungler so early, you think, wow, Herald's going to be ours, we can back off. But DFM turn around the fight with some fantastic play from MF, piloted by Utapon.
And this Vladimir is scarily close to being truly online. A Spellbinder is not miles away, or it could be a Death Cap, of course, second as well. Depends which route Ebby decides to go. Either way is going to be very, very strong. I wonder. It's going to be a bit of a thing. We've seen Rayfaki look pretty good. He's also died a few times. And this Vladimir is quietly or not so quietly hitting a point of pretty disgusting power. It's a second item Void Staff for the Ziggs as well. So all of those resists that the other teams pick up might not mean all that much.
But on the other side, we have the Muramana complete from Yuhi.
Oh, yeah.
And he's on his way to his Triforce, has the Sheen and the Phage stopped off for some Ionian Boots of Lucidity before the completion of that, but this guy's ready to go. You know, he starts hitting Qs onto the Ziggs, onto the MF. He's still going to be putting out a lot of damage. Even the Olaf is not particularly tanky to him right now.
Got to be a bit careful to Yuhi, though, because DFM have once again find those way into this red side jungle, just, like, constantly putting wards down over here.
Yes, however, they will need to make sure that they fight appropriately around the dragon.
Gets the satchel there, but not quite enough. Yuhi's going to take a lot of damage here. I'm not sure he can survive. He's just going to like flash out, and he takes massive damage. No TP, no flash, and with the Mountain Drake up in 15 seconds, it might well just be this sort of mid lane tower going down for DFM. They can satchel it, and it's going to be just not much more damage before that satchel is available to go down. Satchel is there. Picked up is that mid lane turret. Call of the Forge God splits the uprights. Good double apprehend from Rayfaki, trying to get onto DFM, but it's just going to be a little bit of a trade of a health bar, and that's about it. And Ebby's just running into Rocky going, yeah, mate, I will 1v3, come at me.
Yeah,
and
he's solo zoning there.
Mountain Drake will start now. Once is around trying to contest. It's over the back. That's a decent blue trinket to catch out the Mountain Drake. He has been seen there. They know where he is. I don't know whether DFM want to keep fighting this. No, they're going to pull away. They are aware they don't want this to go to a 50-50. If they can pick this up, they can get themselves onto the soul point. But actually, the Drake resets. And that's a good satchel charge one more time. Lots of poke onto Steel, though, who's pretty low. Good dazzle onto Rayfaki. Keeps up away, but that's a decent Cosmic Radiant onto Ebby, who goes into the pool as well. Just keeping everybody off the back while they take that Drake and flash out from Ebby. Well secured, well spaced by Ebby as well to buy all of that zoning he did.
Tightrope Act works out in favor of DFM this time around, get themselves off the Mountain Drake after a couple of interesting moments there. Could have seen it go either way if Vernicore had committed towards the dragon or had committed onto the fight as well. Once had to shuffle himself over the back of the pit with the body slam, and after that point DFM committed to the dragon with just Steel, and then Abby went in for a pretty good combo there, although it did have to flash out at the end of it.
And it's Trinity Fusion complete for the Darius. Ornn still on only one item himself, going towards the, not Frozen, it will be Frozen Fist by the time he upgrades it. I've been seeing so many Ornns now that every time I see the Iceborne Gauntlet, I immediately go to Frozen Fist, and that's the upgraded version of it. Yeah. I'm trying to retrain myself back to knowing what that item's called again.
Well, people used to call it Frozen Fist for the longest time anyway.
Indeed.
I think, actually, you know, there are, if you type into the shop various things, sometimes their monikers will turn up as well.
Indeed.
So if you search spooky ghosts, I
You-
don't know whether
you
it's
do.
still the case.
It does
It
indeed.
will
Gives
show
you
up
twin
as Twin
shadows.
Shadows. Yeah.
Does indeed.
Okay, we do see Ray Farky now that the dragons and the heralds are down, returning back to the sidelines, trying to pick up that extra gold. Backing now. I wonder if he'll be able to get the Sterax soon. He'll be really important once he has that. I may be able to survive that extra bit longer in these team fights.
Yes, we will see. It could be
Yeah, he gets it now.
massive stuff. Yeah. There we go. Frozen Fist is upgraded and available for Ornn.
And the 2-item spike from Yuhi as well. The Triforce Miramana. So Burning Core are at a very strong point this game. They also have a lot of damage coming out from Once with his Magic Pen alongside the jungle item as well. So if they manage to get onto the single target, they can burst out someone before the Cosmic Radiance comes down.
Yeah, but it's not like Seros is shy on damage himself. Has picked up a needlessly large rod, probably heading towards that death cap third.
Well, he went Void Staff second, which is pretty huge too.
Yeah, so he's more than ready to be shoving things up. But look at Burning Core moving towards this top side, trying to rotate up towards DFM, who are here 3 men strong, but it will be versus the 4 of Burning Core. But that's a good dazzle, stops Proud in his place. The depth charge comes through onto Misfortune, but the teleport now coming through. Steel very low. Not sure he wants to go in here. Cosmic Radiance burn. But let's have a look. That's a flash forward. Yuhi's in trouble. Doesn't have a way out. His UC Arcane Shift now does get himself. But Evie
Hemo
got
Plague.
the execute with that Hemo Plague. That virulence too much. And the blood is exsanguinated from that. Ezreal goes down there in the engage. And that means the Baron is started. But be aware, Ray Farky is here looking to try and stop it. DFM want to break this game wide open.
Well, speaking of Ray Farky, didn't choose to TP in there, but there's no Cosmic Radiance now. This could be a pretty huge
They're going
fight
to
for
try
Ray
and
Farky.
turn on it, but Ray Farky takes a lot of damage. Oh my days. Gets deleted. Rocky's gone as well. That Ornn isn't tanky at all. And Utapon did so well in that laning phase. Found that fantastic bullet time in the last fight. And this time picks up a double for himself.
Ray Farky doesn't use the flash, gets called out by the dazzle, goes down, as does Rocky, as he tries to counter-engage, try and peel a little bit for his top laner, ends up in 2 kills going over to DFM. The True Shot Barrage not being able to steal this Baron. DFM take control of the game. After, I thought that when Ray Farky got that solo kill onto Abby in the early game, got a couple of bits of extra lane pressure across the mid game too, that we might see something coming out of this team. But so as we see in this team fight here,
dazzle.
DFM really willing to pick this fight here. They TP in with the Ziggs, they TP in with the Vladimir, and this Darius is just not willing to TP into it either. So that means it is a 4v5. The double TP is a pretty big investment for this fight, but it does come off pretty huge.
Yeah, it does. And it means when they just start at the Baron to try and force Ray Farky to turn up, they turn around, they get the Baron, and they get another 2 kills on the back of this as well, I believe.
So Ray
Rocky
Farky walks up
go
here,
down.
but Once is not here
No,
to
he's
try
not.
and apply a
Look
body
at the
slam.
damage!
Proud is not there either. I feel like if they walk up together and they try and disrupt them as a 4-man unit and try and buy enough space for Ray Farky to start getting a Q off for the healing and all this other stuff, maybe that works out. But now they have to fight against a Baron buff. Now they have to fight against a Death Cap Vladimir. It's a pretty hard ask.
And they're not. And Seros is very close to joining him with that fashion statement. Really close. And that gold lead, which was so close for so long, is now 5k in favor of
And it's 30 seconds
DFM.
till Mansell.
And I still feel that DFM, scale better. That Misfortune at 2.5, nearly at the Bloodthirster as well, which will stack with that fantastic Mountain Soul sort of double over shield. We're looking at a Vladimir who is so online it hurts. Yeah, he struggled early on in the lane, but is now at an exceptionally strong point. And Ziggs, well, he's not exactly known for his late sort of low levels of damage in a late game, is he? He puts out massive amounts of poke.
He's actually one of the highest DPS champions in the game if he hits everything.
Yeah.
If he manages to combo with his passive very well, he gets huge damage. Particularly with these high AP builds as well.
Alright,
so we see some posturing here.
Yeah, exactly. Burning Core can't afford to give up the
Excellent.
Mountain Soul. And Sale is going in. He's there with the Dazzle. Gets the double Dazzle. And the Cosmic Radiance is there. That's a massive Mega Inferno Bomb as well. Rocky has no stats. He's just getting blown up. Evie's on the side. Has got Flash. He's going to go over now. Bang! Look at that massive damage. But Evie, so low. Takes huge amounts of damage. With that transfusion, it's huge! But it's a fantastic cast to get his...
Yuhi!
Utapon is massive as well. And I don't care how healthy you are, Yuhi. You won't take a double up crit to the face and survive.
Utapon doubles down with the double up and takes Yuhi off the rift even though he arcane shifts away. There's no escape and there's bullets coming through the sky to you. It's a lot of kills going the way of DFM. 3 down, even though Ebby paid the price with his own life on the Vampire in the top lane. This is going to be an inhibitor, and with the Satchel Charge, might even be some Nexus turrets.
Well, absolutely, and you look at the 5-1 and 1 Utapon. It might not be an Ocean Rift, but he is more than happy to make it rain bullets today. So much damage available. Steals here, the towers are just going. That Ziggs just destroys them. They're going to have to try and back away now, though. I think there's a lot of respawns coming through. Once trying to slow them down on the
We've seen this once before today.
And you've got to see, Ebby, it doesn't have teleport, going to try and get out. There is a Shireliers from the Taric, though, and the slows and poke from Seros going to keep Burning Court away. They're going to actually try and retreat towards this Mountain Drake, but Seros is only at half HP. Gonna have to be very careful. They're off vision, but that's a decent blue trinket. I think in the middle lane's gonna catch him. Yeah, he's not. He's not far away though. He's gonna hit the blast plant and will be available. That is a useful honey fruit to keep him alive. Yui just goes. Utapon finds the kill from over the wall, and Proud is gonna follow, and that means that Steel burns the Ragnarok. That's another double for this Misfortune, who just can't be stopped. And Seros over the wall uses the GLP, does get shut down, but it's gonna be for naught because once is just looking for style points, and Misfortune throws over that bullet time to wave goodbye. Yeah, if a Wayfarkey turns up, this could be a pentakill for this Misfortune, who is utterly huge.
Yeah, huge game from Utapon on the Misfortune. What a consistent AD carry. This is like Mr. Reliable over here in the AD carry role. Wayfarkey standing around the Nexus there, maybe trying to donate the pentakill over to Utapon, or might also be trying to apprehend him into the turret as well.
That's a huge amount of healing, and you still takes a lot of damage from that flipping Noxian Guillotine, but it is GG to DFM. It was close in the early game. That nice fight and teleport around that Ocean Drake got Burning Court into a decent spot. Wayfarkey's Darius looking good, but once again, not quite enough, and DFM clutch it out with some good decision making in the mid game.
So, as always, going to bring it back to Mass One. What were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I don't know about you, but I thought maybe when it was 4-4 and there was equal dragons, or maybe DFM had 2 dragons and Burning Core had none, I was like, maybe Burning Core could win this. Maybe DFM could lose. And then a dragon fight happened. Oh no, a Baron fight happened, and they got caught out, and then so did Wayfarkey. And then it all went pear-shaped, and then it was just down here from then. It went from 4-4 to 4-7 to just basically DFM going through the motions, because they're a team, once they're ahead and they're going through the motions, they don't stop. Whereas other teams, as we've seen, Axis and Hawks are the only 2 other teams that really can capitalize like DFM, but not to that same level. DFM, once they get that slight edge, it's over. They want the win. They're gonna take it. They won't make a mistake. And especially, I love it if we can remember that moment where the dazzle onto Wayfarkey just before they get that Baron. But that was 5 members of a team all going for one pick. And that's what DFM do so brilliantly. Congratulations to them, really. But commiserations to Burning Core on an 0-2 week.
Yeah, they're going to feel a bit sad about that one. They did so well last week, just to go down to 0-2, especially when the playoff race is so damn close. This could halt them.
It could absolutely do, right? And we're talking about like the whole, DFM kind of turning on a dime, going for the one person with that pick. That's exactly what their comp does as well, right? Not only are the players good at it, they built the comp around it too. Wayfarkey was honestly the one threat that game, and I don't think Burning Core played the map well around him. We saw him pushing Ebby on the towers. Yeah. They never got the bot lane out of turret.
No.
They never did that. Even though they shifted Darius down there, he never found some time to go take that. And that's telling of a team that wants to play around this Darius pick so much.
Yeah, and it's like, once again, right, it's also heavy on this Vladimir, right? And while Darius did well into that match, did actually very well.
He did.
You're never going to stop that Vladimir scaling.
No.
And it hit a point where pretty much every team fight, the Hemoplague would come down, and the rest of Burning Core would disintegrate. Or rather exsanguinate. They would just sort of be they're like, I'm all for giving blood and stuff, but that's a little bit much.
There's one thing I really want to harp on a little bit, and that's Gang on this Taric last pick. I would argue, while we were like the Rakan, I believe, Nightmare, you said Rakan is a great pick. He hovered it for the last few seconds, then switch pick into the Taric.
I like the Tarek.
love this Tarek, actually. I think it works perfectly. In the whole grand scale of things, where if it actually does go a bit pear-shaped and Rayfarki is actually able to turn into a monster, the best champion in the game, arguably, to destroy a Darius is a Tarek. Because you just go, ult, we don't die to your ult now, you don't deal damage to us, your bleed is now stopped, and now the rest of our team, especially with a Vladimir going with it, with the heals and the ult, it just becomes so difficult for a Darius to hard carry a team when a Tarek ult is available.
But well, we saw a couple of times that people died before the Tarek ult came down. We saw that on Steel around the first Herald fight. And that's when we were kind of thinking, oh, actually, maybe Burning Core can start making something of this. I think that also Burning Core had the tools to bait out the Tarek ult and then try and disengage and re-engage.
The problem is, DFM has such good engage, right?
No, they don't. Not on that.
Well, they did, relatively speaking.
No, not really, because they have an Olaf, he can't do much. They have a Vladimir top lane, who doesn't have any CC. Misfortune has the AoE. They have a lot of AoE damage, that's not the same as AoE CC. They need to fight around objectives. I think that no one else in the LJL can play this team comp besides DFM. I wouldn't trust anyone to. We saw people like Sengoku have team comps where they're like, oh, we have 0 engage, we can't do much about it. The Tarek is really good on the disengage side of things, unless you're flashing forward with the Dazzle. We saw that a couple of times. Yes. It was a really interesting comp from DFM. But yeah, it was a weird one to pull off.
Yeah, and it's like there is something to like you can run the Tarek aggressively where if you do get to choose and use your Cosmic Radiance, can have all the information, go in with your Olaf Ragnaroking completely invulnerable with a Dazzle on him. Like that's the kind of dream there with the GLP slow. But it is hard to pull off, right? And if the Dazzle misses, then what do? You're kind of in a really dodgy spot at that point. So I completely agree.
Hit your skill shots.
Yeah, pretty much. And they did, right? Like. Those Mega Inferno bombs, those bullet times, those hemo plagues were enormous towards the end of that game.
So, with that in mind, going on to our fourth and final game for the day. So we only over here at the LJL Official and Unofficial cover the first 4 games of the split, and then a few days later we will cover the latter 4 before week 6 does hit for us. To round up, we have Axis currently 1-0 at the moment for our teams that we will be paying more attention to. Burning Core sadly went 0-2, and Rascal Jesters were able to round it out and went 1-1. Our final game for the day is going to be Axis versus V3. Now, we haven't seen V3 play today. They are coming in cold. Axis, as we saw, already had that victory over the Jesters. Against V3, I'm kind of hopeful for Axis. I think they could actually do it and then potentially have their first ever 2-0. Going 2-0 is huge. It keeps them at the same spot as Rascal Jester, as well as V3 as well. Really pushed them straight onto that contention spot. I think that makes it a 3-player 6th place with everybody else on 4, and then basically DFM and Crest. And Crest only have that one. Oh no, they don't even have that buffer anymore. It's just DFM now, isn't it? Yep. Oh god.
Just DFM.
Just DFM. It's like I'm getting Doki Doki Literature Club now. It's just DFM. But with that all said,
rename them to Monica.
Oh, just Monica? No, just DFM. Only DFM.
That's the way it's only DFM.
With that in mind, we're going to go on a very short break and we'll be back to cover our 4th and final game. Thank you so much for watching.